Hey, watch the 75. Every time we show up anywhere, you know, Parker Kligerman's a player, right?
2 top 10s here in his 2 starts.
Really excited about starting third, too. I talked to him earlier today.
Look at this tight bunch of trucks.
Still there. Clear. Back out there.
Briscoe by the wall in the 22.
And look at Friesen. We talked about him. He splits the middle.
Stewart in that red 52. Howard leading, but he goes high, and they drive right by him. Friesen to the lead, and here comes Parker Kligerman to second. 3 wide for third.
Oh, had an issue.
Yeah, Howard's got some kind of problem.
Up rear.
Caution.
1 caution in our opening heat, and an early yellow flag here in heat number 2 as Howard sits idle on the dirt.
Phil, you know this young man. We talk about how sideways he drives his truck on asphalt. I kind of made him one of my favorites.
He's saying he thinks there's a flat tire there for Tyler Ankrum, but he thinks it said the motor blew or maybe a transmission issue for Colby Howard.
Well, and we heard the radio that said, you know, tire, and so we just assumed it was going to be Howard, but evidently that's not the case. Ankrum comes in, and Howard still sitting out here on the track.
Let's see if we can pick up anything that tells us what might have happened to the 9. Everything looks good so far, and then gets down to the corner. Looked like he just overshot the turn and was pushing. And
yeah,
I don't know what would have gone wrong then.
You think he might have hit the kill switch on the steering wheel or something, Michael?
That's possible.
With the fact he had to turn the wheel so far, possibly?
Is this where we got Ankrum's tire?
I would guess so. I think if I'm the crew chief for Colby Howard, I'm saying, hey, you know, hit that kill switch, reset that kill switch.
Maybe a little bit of contact there between Briscoe and Colby Howard leaving the scene of the accident. Happy guys, right?
Yeah.
What dirt? I'm gonna tell you, dirt racing just does that to you. It's just more. It's so much fun to watch these trucks slip and slide and make ground that way. Usually, when you're sideways at them, it's a bad thing, but not at a dirt race.
Not to push you then.
Oh, he does have a right rear tire flat, obviously, but I think it looks like it's still in gear.
Yeah, it's stuck in gear. Maybe.
Wave your hand out the window. Yeah, I am.
Colby Howard's up pretty good in the points, so he will probably race later despite this problem.
One of our full-time competitors.
How about that 19, Amanda?
We talk about guys having fun at Bristol. Christian Eckes is one of those. He said, concrete or dirt, I absolutely love being at Bristol. And you saw Carson Hocevar celebrating there. You'll go back to Atlanta when Christian Eckes won. He said in his winner's interview that he had something to prove this season. And as he was reflecting on the first couple of races here this season, that's exactly what I've been doing so far. But when talking about expectations on the track here tonight, he said, screw expectations. I have no idea what to predict out there, but said he expected the truck to be tighter in comparison to other formats that we see in trucks with the tires. Josh?
Here alongside Carson Hocevar, got that first career win last week at Texas, and what's even better, last year, really strong runner up here. So how you feeling heading into this one?
I feel really good. We're playing with house money right now, honestly. We already got our ticket to the playoffs, and this was a good one. They all were a lot more motivated. They're already motivated knowing how good we were last year and how good we were in Knoxville on the dirt, but even more so when they kept looking over and seeing a trophy sitting in the shop and seeing a winner sticker on the truck. But no, I'm excited. This is fun. I love dirt racing. I love we're here. It's not the traditional dirt that Davenport and Carpenter run. That's an element zone. But I like Briscoe's approach here of ripping the fence. Maybe we'll get that burned in, but. I doubt it, honestly. We'll probably run the middle or so, but I'm excited. I have a lot more fun probably watching just as much as I do racing, but I'm excited to get out there. I'm jealous right now. I just want to go out and run laps.
Can't wipe that smile off his face, guys.
Yeah, and hey, he was second in this race last year and led 55 laps and led a bunch of laps at Knoxville as well. So he may be here for fun, but you would anticipate he'll be quite the player as well. We're doing the choose, getting set up for the restart here in heat number 2. Only got a couple of laps in before the caution came out for Colby Howard. And Tyler Ankrum also had a tire issue, came down pit road.
We're removing the drone, Adam. It's going to the garage area. Everyone has chosen.
Yeah, they actually choose with 2 to go.
Yeah, and this is interesting. We talked a lot about how good Stuart Friesen is and that Chase Briscoe would be right on his tailgate. Jessica slipped a bit there on the start. Ankrum with that, the flat tire that Ankrum had has put him in the back. So going to be a lot more action.
Looks like the Colby Howard truck will not be able to continue.
Will be green flag next time by.
Howard was quite frustrated when he got out of the truck, and I'm not sure, and not only frustrated with the situation, but I think also he wanted to get back and get a little work done so he could continue. So tough break for him, but as Michael pointed out, we would anticipate he'll be racing later tonight based on where he sits in regard to points. Friesen, Kligerman front row, right behind him. Eckes and Briscoe both have been aggressive early here in heat number 2.
Yes, and it's been fun to watch.
Don't forget about Zane Smith back in row 3 on the outside, that 38 truck either.
Right on cue, 38 jumps to the outside with a 22 of Chase Briscoe.
Boy, it seemed to be a lot more grip on the outside, middle to outside that time than on the bottom.
Lost a little bit of momentum there, did Zane in that blue truck. Parker Kligerman took advantage of it.
I saw Zane's truck dig into the dirt as well.
Think that's an adjustment they could make after this race, Phil?
I think, yeah, simply raise it up or maybe a little stiffen up the bump stops that they have on the shocks to keep it from traveling so much.
You talk about playing with house money. Carson Hocevar said it. He won last week. Zane Smith has won twice this year. He's really in a good position for later on this evening.
And Stuart Friesen's looking really good right now, too.
Christian Eckes is heating up Parker Kligerman there. You see the Napa truck behind the Swifter truck. That's a pretty good sponsor for dirt, right?
Is it not perfect? Isn't it not perfect? We're used to seeing Food Country on that truck. The Hendersons. Hometown race for them here.
Of course, Kligerman running full-time in the Xfinity Series for Big Machine Racing, driving that 48. Great to see him doing so much behind the wheel this season.
Yeah, he's got a great attitude, great spirit. One of them guys you look forward to hearing what he has to say when they put a microphone in front of him.
I was talking to him down in the garage area earlier today, and he said, this is so much fun. He said, I'm telling you, you can't have any more fun than running the dirt here at Bristol.
It's interesting. You see his truck's not being pitched out like we saw at Ben Rhodes, where we see the dirt race Stuart Friesen. His has hung pretty good, as are most of the truck. But Parker's been a little straighter. Hangs out a little bit that time, but it feels like there's different philosophies in between either the setup and the driver or one or the other on how to go fast here.
Yeah, I was talking to Parker this morning. He said, I think in the heat races you will drive it more like an asphalt track, less hung out even though these front trucks are. He said, but in a race when it starts slicking up a little bit, he said, then that's when you're going to be really sideways.
Look at the pylon, and this is the gain versus the loss for these drivers, and the passing points are huge. Zane Smith +7, working on a really good starting spot. Chase Briscoe is +4, and Stuart Friesen, who right now is pulling away from the competition, the lead is +3. So you add that to what he's been able to do. If he's able to hang on and win this heat, he could be in contention for the pole later tonight.
That's got to be a little frustrating. Zane is right there, but just can't make up enough ground. And speaking of frustrating, Jessica's having a bad run in that 62 truck. She would be one of the trucks that would not make the race if this race were to end right now.
Yeah, this is the first time this truck has been on the race in the series this year, so no points to fall back on.
Just a normal ride in the dirt for old Stuart Friesen, isn't it?
And really consistent, too. Have been watching the lap times. His lap times haven't really varied more than about 1/10 of a second.
Hey, if you drop back to second and third, you got Chase Briscoe, who we know is so experienced on the dirt, and you expect is going to be really good later tonight. And then there's Zane Smith, who while he's been impressive, still has a lot to learn at this style of racing. Can he go to school right here and learn a little bit for later on? What do you think?
Every lap you learn. You just feel like, because look at all the things, look at all the variables, Adam. How far you go in, how far you hang out the back, which part of the track do you run. Every lap you learn something, and he's putting those lessons to use here.
He might be giving a lesson. He's looking for second right now, Amanda.
It's funny you guys talk about school. He said he did the most homework that he's done for any race coming in here, watching film and looking over notes that he's taken over the years. But he quoted and said, "I am not the dirt winger." So he's been hoping to apply what he has learned here. And in talking about the fun in Bristol, the 23-year-old used the words to me and called Bristol so sick.
I'll say this. He's +8 right now. I mean, he's working on the pole, is Zane Smith. And working on a win in heat number 2, Stuart Friesen. Here comes the 52. Back to the line. He wins the second heat. Second place goes to Zane Smith. Briscoe, Kligerman, Eckes, your top 5.
This was an impressive move for Zane Smith to get to the bottom.
Yeah, Chase was committed to the top side there, really cranking it sideways.
Watch him go up really top side here, Phil.
Maybe jump the cushion. He did jump the cushion. All 4 tires up above the lighter part of the racetrack.
Zane Smith with a great run in heat number 2. But the man who got it done is Stuart Friesen. Rhodes heat 1, Friesen heat 2. We're halfway home at Bristol.